Thank you, Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Greens to speak on this public interest debate and thank the member for Mount Druitt for bringing it to the chamber. It's always welcome to be able to spend the opportunity talking about giving workers in New South Wales a pay rise, and very much hope that we see not just a commitment to negotiating and talking to unions by the new incoming Minns Labor government, but a commitment to actually scrapping the cap, something that we know has been a long-held problem in New South Wales when it comes to the rights of workers to be able to get fair pay for fair work. And I want to recognise the fact that our public sector workers, including our nurses, midwives, health workers, paramedics, teachers, transport and frontline workers, have all worked tirelessly year after year to be able to deliver and keep us safe during a crisis, and now we need to see them paid and remunerated properly. I absolutely want to indicate the Greens' support for the fact that we need to see an end to the public sector wage cap that has meant that as the cost of living has risen, as inflation has gone up, and billionaires and big corporations have reaped record profits, public sector wages and conditions have been going backwards. But we also need to remember that the history of this is that this wages cap was put in place by a former Labor government. But we need to recognise that the commitment to actually scrapping it now should also indicate a commitment to actually moving on from what was a neoliberal agenda under the last Labor government that saw a whole lot of concerning moves towards privatisation and sell-off of public assets, and a failure to listen to the needs of workers and the need to protect and support our public sector. And I hope that this motion today and the actions and intentions of the new incoming Minns Labor government indicate a willingness of them to actually put aside those dark days of the past and actually move into a situation where we are giving workers real wage increases. The Greens absolutely agree that we need to scrap the public sector wage cap and ensure that our teachers, nurses, midwives, paramedics, transport and public sector workers have a fair wage. But let's be clear, just scrapping the wage cap is not enough. Public sector workers need a real wage increase to match the rising costs of living. And those that are now sitting on the opposition benches, and we heard from the former Treasurer Matt Keane earlier in this debate, want to, as the member for Mount Druitt pointed out, want to have two sides of this debate. On one hand, they're saying this is scandal, look how much it's going to cost. Well, we see how much money they spent on their corporate mates when they were in government, and yet at the same time they're saying, come on, where's the action? You haven't done more. Well, the hypocrisy on this side from the opposition, former Liberal National government, is just beyond belief, and it will continue to go on, I feel certain. I'm running a bit of a competition on myself, watching from the crossbenches up there. How long are we going to see the New South Wales Minns Labor government blame everything on the former Liberal National government? And how long are we going to see the Liberal National government play both sides of the coin, where on one hand they're on the sides of the workers, 2 years, I reckon longer. On one hand they're on the side of the workers, they want to see some action and change. On the other hand, they're freaking out about how much it's going to cost. Well, can I say that the Greens want to see the public sector wage cap abolished, and we want to see a delivery of real wage increases in New South Wales for public sector workers, and we know that we can pay for it. We can pay for it by making the big polluters pay. We can pay for it by making sure that those that are making huge amounts of money off the property industry pay, and we can do it by making sure that we set the priorities of this budget that ensure that workers are given the priority over and above tax concessions and benefits to the big end of town. The Greens stand firm in our support of these demands to see public sector workers who have taken to the streets just outside of this chamber here, taking action and strike action to demand better pay and conditions. We support mandated staff-to-patient ratios in hospitals. We know that mums matter and babies count, and we back the call for 24/7 patient transport vehicles to keep ambulances free for emergency responses. We recognise the needs to fix the chronic staff shortages in schools and back the calls for urgent intervention to alleviate the unreasonable workloads teachers are currently facing. And we back in the demands for genuine investment to address the long-standing safety issues burdening our public transport system, and to bring the Inner West buses and the entire bus network back into public hands. And while we're talking about renationalising things, let us bring back the public works and scrap the public housing maintenance contracts. We are committed to ending the wages cap. We are committed to seeing this reform happen so that we can secure better wages and conditions for the people of New South Wales.